Hi, Michael.
Hey Wolfgang.
Good to see you again for another session on Shapes of Innovation.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we continue this session already today, and we're gonna talk about Design Sprint, a very popular book, few years old, from Jake Knapp, right? And it was like
Exactly.
revolutionary running these 5-day workshops.
5 days from a challenge to some learning. In essence, a design sprint is a very compressed version of what you do in design thinking if you want to understand a challenge and create out of the box solutions that you then can fit into a larger iterative, agile, lean process. There is a 4-day version of the sprint by now, but the essential process, the different steps remain basically the same. So whether we look at the 5-day sprint or the 4-day sprint, the logic behind it should be the same.
And today we kind of map what happens in a design sprint when you bring together a group of people on these specific days. And let's start with Monday. And Monday is sometimes titled the Unpack Day. So from your experience, what happens on a Monday and how to visualize it in the form of the product field?
What happens on a Monday? Unpacking all the information that the team brings, that the experts bring that can join the team, and mapping it into a shared big picture is basically filling the context areas of the product field. Because talking about the goals that the organization, the team wants to reach, talking about what resources you can use, what production capabilities you have, who you are designing it for, the customers, the users, their motivations. That's basically exactly what people bring to the Monday and what needs to be unpacked and mapped. And it's no coincidence that that map is basically exactly what we usually do when working with the product field when bringing all this information.
And what I find exciting, that in the design sprint you bring together like different people. And for example, engineers tend to contribute like informations that we map down here. Designers may have done some research upfront about the users and they contribute this information from this area. Then there are like product people, business developers, maybe C-levels, founders that contributes to the overall company goals. And for sure you want to include people from a growth discipline or marketing to also bring in their perspective. And while the design sprint starts with a challenge, this maps helps to like share insights and actually choose the target. And I think the target of a design sprint is redefined. How might we question or challenge that you could like position here, right? This could be the result of the Monday when running a design sprint. Okay, let's look at Tuesday. What happens on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, you develop possible solutions for that. As the sketch says, it's competing solutions at that point. So what you do is diverge quite heavily to discover a broad range of possible solutions. And this is basically doing some kind of loop or cycle through the uniqueness, solutions, and to check against problem areas of the product field. Depending on the methods that you use, it's a highly, as I said, divergent and highly iterative process of generating as many possible solution ideas as you can get.
Okay, so here's how might we the target for the sprint, and then here are like in green a lot of like solution explorations. What happens on a Wednesday?
On Wednesday, you switch from the diverge to the converge phase, and you decide on which possible solution or which idea is the best. For that, you again need people who bring relevant perspectives to the sprint. So Wednesday is usually a day where you have people, as you said, for example, from product management or from the C-level or from some kind of decision-making level in your organization, depending on your context, and you decide about with which idea you want to go forward. So it's basically narrowing as you sketch, it's narrowing down this like wild squiggle of possible things to a few things you want to do, you want to build.
And the decision is orientated based on the information in the context. So what is a good solution then? It's kind of informed by the clarification that happened on Monday. Okay, then there's the German Donnerstag, Thursday. What happens on Thursday?
On Thursday, you do the all-important step of prototyping, which you already talked about a bit the last time we spoke, which sits right at the intersection of solution and alternatives and production and distribution. This is where you materialize your ideas, where you make them tangible. Remember when we talked about the axis, the dimensions of the product field, one of the trajectories you follow is making something intangible tangible. Prototyping is where exactly that is happening. And yeah, it's turning a lot of abstract things into something very concrete.
And then we are right there at the horizontal axis. So innovation is not just like realizing something, it's also like introducing it. And once you created this prototype on Thursday, you can bring it out on Friday. You introduce it to potential customers and users.
Exactly. And that way, and by now you see that the shape that is emerging here is in fact quite similar to the one we found last time for design thinking as an overall approach. We come full circle because we now bring it to the people, to the organizations we have targeted, we had in mind when designing it, tested, and then have hopefully some valuable feedback about whether what we decided on doing and whether the ideas we came up with are really the right ones. So it's basically now
beautiful and
feeding back into the learning cycle, which we started up there exactly.
So, and to complete the picture, let me copy like this beautiful sketches from the original book in a very bad fashion, but that's what's happening here. Unpacking on Monday, then we do have a target in form maybe of a how might we question. Sketching happens on Tuesday. Wednesday is where you decide on one solution, pick the best, you prototype, you've realized this idea that happened through the design sprint, and then you're able to introduce it to target customers. Learning loop closed. Okay, short version.
Exactly.
Thank you for being quick on design sprint, and see you once again next time when it's time for Shades of Innovation.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.